This is the kind of welcome you get from Officer Rodriguez, which he's really not an officer. He's just a contracted security guy. So there you go. We're getting ready to put this stuff in here and get out of here. Is it okay if I do that? Can I do that? Can I help her put that?
You got to do, but after today, you're not allowed back.
Okay. Well, trust me. Yeah, okay. You heard that, folks. I'm going to jail.
And welcome to episode 11 of the Do Something Indy show. I'm your host, John Schmitz. And I'll tell you what, this has been interesting getting this show put together. This is a month-long investigation that I've been doing with our homeless friends that have found themselves in the hotels around town. And you'd think, oh, that'd be really great. But in this case, not so much. So they've reached out to me because no one else will listen. And I've done some poking around. And as you can see in the interview or the intro tonight, I sort of ruffled a few feathers. And I'll play that entire clip later on in the show. And then today I get a call from Tag Griffin, who is he's a homeless advocate, actually serves meals to our homeless camps all around the city every Saturday night. And he got a COVID shot yesterday, and guess what? He's dumpster. He's no bueno. He said, I can't go. So who do you lean on? You always lean on your significant other to do this. So I'm going to bring on my lovely co-host this evening, Lisa Schmitz. Here you go. I need to be on this side. Okay, there we go. It's just like our bed. I got to be on one side. You got to be on the other one, right? So.
You have your side. That's for sure.
Yep. So welcome to the show. And I want to promote you a little bit. So what have you been doing this evening? I think it has something to do with the show we had a few weeks ago about the Indianapolis Art Museum. Is that right? So what have you been doing tonight?
I was doing this tonight.
Art in Bloom. Okay.
I was setting up my Art in Bloom exhibit at Newfield's Indianapolis Museum of Art. It is their inaugural Art in Bloom exhibit. It runs tomorrow through Sunday. It is part of the general admission ticket, so you don't have to have an extra ticket to see the exhibit, but basically they pair you with a piece of art in the museum somewhere, and you are to do a design that either mimics or is inspired by or replicates in some way the piece of art in flowers. So I had to take my design and set it up this evening. And museums have their protocol and all of their conservancy people that have to inspect everything. So you have to be basically under the microscope before they can approve you to leave it there. So it was kind of nerve-wracking. So
And you are coming to us live from the Mars Hill Art Studio, and I'm coming to you from the Chateau de Mars Hill Studio. You know, you'd think we could come to you from the same household, but it's only 6 blocks away from the house, so you're not far away. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you're going to be up for this investigation because this is, Do Something Indy is usually a positive show. We focus on positive things in the city and around the city and in Indiana. And tonight, this is going to be a positive show, and I'm positively disgusted by what I found on this investigation. So this is going to be a little different for what we have done in the past. And what got me started on this was I do serve a lot of the homeless folks. I help out with people on occasion, and they started calling me about the treatment at one of the hotels. So I started doing a little poking around on that. And at least I see you have a question there.
No, I want to stop you because what I think our viewers don't know, and I didn't know until you started having conversations about all of this going on, I did not know that the city and the federal government had created this plan to put homeless folks up in hotels in cities during COVID. So I had no idea that all these people were living in these relatively nice hotels. I mean, the Wyndham is not a, shabby hotel. So folks, if you don't know the situation in this city and other cities around the country, they have put these people in these hotels on purpose And then this investigation is a result of that.
Yes, and we had 4 hotels, and they were in various. I think there was the Hampton, the Express Inn, the Wyndham, and the Crowne Plaza. And we're going to focus on the Crowne Plaza, and it's not the hotel so much as it's the person running the program in the hotel. As you will see, a common theme this evening with these interviews. I have 4 or 5 different clips here that we're going to show you, and then we're going to get into talking about how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and run the very first one, and I have to warn you that this one has a little bit of language in it. It's what this person was actually called by this manager, that you will find out what kind. You will hear this person's name very many times in this interview. So let's get to it. This is the first clip. It's a few minutes long, so bear with us. Watch it, and you'll get an idea from some of the folks that I know that are suffering from homelessness. So here we go. Okay, so you have been in the housing for how long?
Since mid-November.
I've had some folks calling me about some issues with some management. Is that what?
There's definitely an issue with the Mangus Group, which is they oversee the day-to-day operations and oversee the residents. They're not affiliated with IHG or the hotel staff. They're a separate company that the city has contracted to basically process people into the facility and then make sure that they're following the rules, they're doing the things that they're supposed to do. And originally they were supposed to offer resources like helping people that didn't have their birth certificates or their social security cards. And then when they were helping get people into housing, what would happen is they were responsible to coordinate with some of the other service providers in order to help them pretty much go from living on the streets to the hotel to actually an apartment. And they've sold so many lies to people. I know of a few residents that have tried 5 times to get their social security card. And now there's an alert on their social security number because there's been so many applications put in. They never referred anyone to doctors like they were supposed to. They never helped with bus passes to appointments and such.
So why do you think this is?
Honestly, I think it's because they wanted an easy paycheck for them and their friends.
Okay, so you think this is it Mangus themselves is maybe not the culprit here, but it's actually the people they've hired? Or is that safe to say?
Well, the owner and the CEO and the co-owner are the supervisors there, Mike and Tanya Miner.
Okay.
And for the most part, the issues are with them. They've thrown people out of the hotel for various reasons and then let other people who came in completely drunk and had to have 7 people try to wake them up, let them just go up to their room and sleep it off.
So that's sort of inconsistent on the management. Are they pick and choose? Maybe they see somebody that
They pick and choose. They do a lot of different things. Mr. Miner has harassed people that are members of the LGBTQ community, and he called me a fucking faggot.
Wow.
And he thought I was out of earshot. And there were other people that heard it.
Just under his breath sort of thing. Well, so what this sounds like, instead of being a manager, this sounds like he's being a warden.
Absolutely.
You feel like you're in a prison?
I've done 16 years in prison.
So is this worse or better than prison?
To be honest with you, the fact that I know I'm free, I've paid my debt to society, I did my parole time, and that I shouldn't be treated like I'm under lock and key, I absolutely feel more like I'm locked up sometimes when I'm at the hotel than I would in jail or prison. And for the record, the signs that are on all of the doors, and I actually walked around the whole place on the outside and read the signs, say that visitors are not welcome inside the hotel. And that we can have people come and pick us up and drop us off.
Try to edit this in such a way that, you won't be retaliated against, because that's how...
To be honest with you, I am not concerned. If they put me out of there for telling the truth, and I have to go back underneath of a bridge, I'm going to give you a call to come see me.
we'll make sure
I'll
Tag
be
gets
back
you a meal.
underneath the bridge. And Tag from Hearts and Hands Homeless Outreach will definitely bring me a meal.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's just one. That's to get it started off. And this guy has been helping me try to find numbers and information about what's going on with the city. And a couple things that stick out to me here is that, yes, this was done a month ago. I've been working on this for over a month to try to get these interviews. And I don't know if anyone's worked with homeless folks, but a lot of times they don't have watches and it's very hard for appointments. So this was pretty much my third shot at getting interviews with these folks. So that just goes to show you how determined they are to get a little bit of relief from what's going on. And it's just very interesting how this goes. So Lisa, what did you take away from the first interview?
So first of all, I loved how he acknowledged Tag at the end. And you were supposed to have Tag on the show tonight, not me. So they do some great work. But his comparison of where he is now, which, I mean, I'd be interested to see, is he still at the Crowne Plaza right now?
I have an update. As of today, he is supposed to be getting his housing voucher filled, okay. But I don't know. Maybe after this airs, it'll get lost in the translation. Who knows?
Well, so his comparison of this experience of late to his experience in prison is very telling. And I don't understand how they can be housed in a hotel and be told that they can't have visitors. That's taking someone's freedom away.
Yeah, but to be fair, this was for COVID. So they want to protect these folks from COVID. And that is the guys that they use whenever I was, and I've picked people up, taken them to appointments more than one time. And that is they're protecting these folks. Now, if they're sleeping under a bridge, they don't care about them. But when they have them, when their job depends on it, all of a sudden they're precious. And
was
when
the
they're making a bunch of money off of them.
Is the hotel still housing guests? Could I go and book a room?
No, I don't think so. From what I gathered, I mean, getting information on the program, which we'll cover later about how that process works, is very hard. I'd rather give a root canal to a rhinoceros than try to get information from these people. So that, as far as I know, it's sort of closed down, and they're having these people at the hotel.
So it sounds like prison. It also sounds like a really strict resident assistant in college at a religious university that has curfew and won't let you leave.
You sound like you had experience with that. And I know that there's some people that are tuned in here saying, well, they're just complaining. Who could get a hotel room after sleeping under a bridge and complain about it? And that's, that's the thought that I had. These
people are human beings. It doesn't matter if they lived under a bridge or in an apartment or whatever made them homeless. They are human beings.
Exactly. So now I want to go ahead and play this next clip of, I think there's 5 or 6 interviews here of people and I talked to several other people with the same attitude and with the same experiences. One guy, they have laundry there, and you can send your clothes to the laundry. Well, they lost all of their clothes and didn't even, just sort of blew him off. So let's go to this next clip. And this is, like I said, several of my friends. Here we go. Let's listen to it, and we'll check back in. And then you'll definitely start to see a pattern here. Hi, I'm here with another resident of the
Crowne Plaza Hotel.
And I'm doing some investigating on what the living conditions are there and how the management's going. So how long have you been at the hotel?
I've been there since July.
Okay. Where were you staying before?
I was on the streets.
Do you think they're overstepping their bounds by watching you?
Yeah.
Does it feel like your privacy is being sort of...
Okay. Because there's times that I know that I've been either in the bathroom, taking a shower or whatever, and the guy named Mike Miner that runs Global was in my room watching me the whole time.
So it sounds like, I've talked to a few people, it sounds like the hotel's good, the program's great, but the management, this particular manager is really having a problem. And have you complained?
Yeah.
How many people would you say are complaining about the management?
He's had over 200 complaints at the Bears action.
So why do you think they're not doing anything about it?
Because Andrew Markley said that he did not know who Mike was when he signed the contract.
Oh, I'm here with someone that's had experience in the hotel program that the city's put on. I appreciate you talking about this, and we're going to see what we can get done.
But you know, him going into people's rooms and taking their stuff and just setting them out for stupid reasons is ridiculous.
So is there plenty of room there at the hotel?
There is.
So
There's plenty of room.
When they throw somebody out, does that really... Is it 1 warning, 2 warnings, 3? What's the protocol?
It's just they just do it automatically. They don't care.
If maybe he's in a bad mood or whatever.
I have stayed there. When we were staying there, we watched them put out the one gentleman that was an alcoholic. Yes, he was over at the Reuben Center, so he could get detoxed. He comes back over, and they put him out in the cold. Him no place to go, no blankets.
Mike says he owns Crowne Plaza, which everybody knows that ain't true.
Okay. So
he may have a contract with them for the housing, but people get donations. Gives donations to clothes and everything like that. He puts them in ballroom A, and nobody gets them. Shoes, coats, clothes.
So the people bring donations.
Yeah, and he puts them in
he just keeps them.
Yeah.
All right, that doesn't sound too legit to me.
And people used to come in, like get Bibles or personal hygiene or something like. No, he put the brakes on that. Nobody's allowed in that hotel unless he says so.
Yeah, and I know that they're using the COVID as a reason for that. I understand that, but it seems like this is above and beyond what's really necessary. So
and he just walks around over there, and if you don't agree with him or something, he throws you out.
So
just say something against him, he throws you out.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna try to get an appointment with him to talk to him and to see about.
Oh, he'll run.
Well, hey, I always got to ask.
Yeah.
So. All right, I'm here with another person that's staying at the hotel, and what's your experience at the hotel?
They did go into people's rooms unannounced. They've done it to me, and they've searched my room even after they threw one person out that wasn't supposed to be in my room. I didn't know he was in there. He was laying on the other side of my bed. They went through all my stuff and everything, and I've had to file a police report because all of my meds came up missing, stolen. People are somebody's getting into our rooms. We're getting food that's giving us diverticulitis, which is a severe case of food poisoning, and making us, it causes severe stomach pain, vomiting, diarrhea, all at the same time. And
So what would you say is this like an overall attitude that everyone feels like they're in a prison?
Yes. And when you walk in the building, you feel like you have to cut the air with a butter knife.
Oh, so it's very tense.
Yes.
And you don't feel, it's obviously a nice situation you have.
Yes.
Really, if somebody was watching this, they say, well, they're just complaining, but I don't get that.
No, we're not complaining. The thing is, yes, I am very grateful for being there. I've been homeless off and on for almost 13 years. And they're trying to find me a place to live, yes. But you don't have to treat us like we're 2-year-olds.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's too much dignity and respect given.
No, there is not. They're even punishing the ones that have been there the longest. And we haven't done anything wrong.
Now, how long have you been there?
11 months.
Soon or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. Are they working on that for you?
Yes.
Do you think they're doing a poor, fair, or good job as far as getting the wraparound services done?
They are doing, since Aspire has arrived, it's gotten better.
So Aspire, and that for those, that is another agency that helps with wraparound services such as housing, doctors, getting your whatever you need.
We do have one problem, and we will all agree his name is Mike.
Okay, so that would be that's a very common theme here. That seems like this problem stems from one specific person, and then Mike works for the city. Does the city hire him, or what's the?
I don't know.
You don't know. You just know that he's a problem, right?
Yes, he comes at you with straight attitude. And last night he said, because I came down for supplies, and I didn't realize I couldn't get it until 7:30 at night. Because I suffer from short-term memory loss. And he goes, "Here, let me teach you how to read."
Oh, so it's this sort of comments that are just not really nice.
He disses you.
Yeah. Okay. So he's just disrespecting.
Yes, and he talks about us behind our back. And I have a feeling that there are going to be repercussions against the ones that are doing this right now.
Well, we'll see about that. We're going to try to protect everybody the best we can. But somehow we have to figure out a way to make things better, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and like I said, I had several other people that I talked to on the phone with sort of the same type of, same type of complaints. And I know that if you're watching this, you're thinking, what the heck? These people are in a hotel. Why are they complaining? And I'm like, okay, why would they complain? How bad could it be? Well, I'm getting ready to, after we have a little discussion, I'm getting ready to show you a clip of an experience I had out there with one of the security guys that sort of drove it home for me. So if you're skeptical about this reporting or this conditions, just stay tuned here. But Lisa, what do you think about that? It's sort of disrespectful and just no need to be like that.
Yeah. So I wonder who is governing or managing this Mike guy that they keep talking about. Who is managing him? Because it sounds like he's just doing a poor job of managing the people that he's supposed to be caring for. And I can't imagine that. I think of it in terms of, this is my old HR experience coming out, my HR executive role and all the people that I supported. I can't imagine one of my managers or myself saying the things that I heard her say that were said to her or said about her or someone else behind their back. That's just not acceptable. And so if this person is the person in charge of taking care of all of these people, then he should not have that kind of attitude about people in general. So John, I do want to jump back. We have some comments. And Ava had mentioned, how do you monitor homeless people if you're allowing visitors? And there's some conversation there about that. So I do absolutely agree that there needs to be security around all of that. And yes, these are very vulnerable people. And so we need to provide a system that helps ensure that they stay safe and secure. But also, these people are in a very emotional state, and also, in situations that they need people, regardless of COVID. So if there are visitors that come that maybe can meet them outside, or there's some other type of safe protocol that doesn't maybe allow them into the building, but allows them to meet outside, whatever kinds of things. And like TAG's outreach program, everyone should know who TAG is, and they should allow them to come and serve these people. Kathy Albright, they should allow someone like Kathy. All of the homeless organizations that we work with should be on a list and allowed to come and serve this population of people whose mission it is for their nonprofits to serve. They should not get the runaround like you got, that I know you're going to show. And, you should be on that list as well, because you work with all these other people.
Yeah, I agree. And I have no problem with the no visitors thing. Honestly, that is just a non-issue, really, because they can go out at certain times and go see people. It's not like they're locked down. But, unfortunately, while they're there, most of them are on pin and needles because, it's just very, very tough. And one of the things I noticed was that there's folks who are taking donations out there, and guess what? The manager is keeping them for himself. And that's like, oh, that's quality. It's not enough that he's getting paid a bunch of money to do this.
I go back to who is managing this.
It's almost
managers, because it sounds like the fox is guarding the hen house right now.
Yeah, it's almost like we rehearsed this. It's like, because guess what? We're going to go into that. Who's managing this person? So
you guys that are all listening, we did not even talk about this show today. I have been so busy.
I know that's why I'm laughing and smiling here, because
5
minutes before we went on air, we went over how I was laying this thing out, which I got all in my head. I didn't write down. So I start digging in to see who indeed Lisa is managing this program. So I called up Andrew Merkley. He's with the health department, and he's from the city. I talked to him about 20 minutes and asked him about an interview. And, I want to make it positive. I want to, get what you're doing, because I don't like having just one side of the story, because you know how that goes. It doesn't work out that well for you sometimes. So I reached out to him, and he sent me to somebody. I gave a message. Hey, find out who you got to get this cleared with, and let me know. Which 4 or 5, 6 days pass by, and so I get a letter, and here you go. I'm going to put it up here on the screen, and I think we can talk during this. So there you go. This is from Caroline Ellert, and she says, Mr. Smits, thank you for reaching out regarding an interview. Unfortunately, at this time, we are unable to accommodate your request. Thank you again, and I hope you have a good week. Regards, not signed, no phone number. That was my first run around. So, I get that going from there. But what the first guy that did the interview, he's been trying to help me find numbers, because they have spent, from what I gather, $25 million on this program over the last year, which is, and then also the hotels or the programs spend $10,000 per head per month. And I can't verify those numbers, but I've heard them a lot of times, and that's what would be beneficial if somebody from the city would just give me some numbers. I know that CHIP got $5 million. Another authority got $7 million. I don't know.
They have to spend that money.
Yeah, I know, and it's CARES Act money. But by gosh, we could fix a lot of homeless issues for $25 million in the right hands. And I know Kathy Albright and Tags and Tyree and some other folks that are watching this they're frustrated, because they're out there doing their service, which is great service with little or no money.
No money.
And that's what makes it really frustrating when you try to find out and do a fair composition of what's going on out there, and it's almost like they got something to hide. It looks like
a great big Band-Aid that costs millions of dollars to cover up a problem that they want to see go away, and they don't want to create anything tangible that could really help fix it.
Well, and I think it's one of those things. Well, we got a program, so that's cool. We're doing something. You see, what I did there, do something, I put that in there. But they're really doing nothing. I mean, they're just letting a guy run rogue out there and just pretty much abuse. The thing flying across the bottom here is not far from the truth, from what I can gather. And then I did reach out to Mike Miner again for like the 4th time. That and one of the complaints was, when you call down to find somebody, you can't. They're not there. And he was really sort of condescending and smart alecky about the fact that he's not going to do an interview. I don't need, you call so and so, call somebody else, but I'm not doing an interview. And that was that. I'm like, okay, well, hey, then guess what? We can talk all we want about you, because you're not going to defend yourself. So yeah, here we go. This is Tag. This is coming from a firsthand person. And Tag, I'm going to have to beg to differ with you. I think they matter to the people that live in Indiana, and some of those people want to see them go away, out of sight, out of mind. That sure, but they don't matter to our government, other than they're a number, and how fast can we get them checked off of the box. So it is and Ava, very good point. It's definitely being misused. This isn't a case of maybe or might. This is that. So, hey, it gets better. So word gets out that I'm doing this investigation. Okay. So I go over there. I saw a post from one of our friends. It might have been on Tag's website that said that she needed help moving from 1 to 4. That she would pay somebody to do it, and just help her out. And so I'm like, I had some concrete in the morning, and it was going to work out where I could probably go do this. Plus, this is the hook that a lot of times you get into. Oh, I only got 6 bags of stuff, and it's it only take me a minute. Well, here you go. This is where no good deed goes unpunished. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. So I go pick her up, and we're going back to the hotel. I let her out, which I'm assuming is going to be 5 or 10 minutes or so, which turns into about 40. And I'm out in my truck. I literally dozed off. This is about 4:30. I'm like, and I'm an elderly person. I need a little nap. And so I'm like dozed off in the truck. And this security guy comes out from the hotel and starts harassing me. I mean, just harassing me. So I talked to him for 5 minutes trying to explain to him what I was doing. And then finally I decided, you know what? You're going on Facebook Live, dude. And let's see how that goes for you. So here is my encounter with I don't know if this guy was a real cop or not out there. And I had to do some sound enhancement here because I didn't have my camera. I had my iPhone with me, and it doesn't pick up the other voice. So I had to do a little editing. So it's going to jump up and back and forth. But let's go ahead and play this, and you can tell me what you think. I'm out here at the Crowne Plaza Hotel, and I'm out here. I'm helping a friend of mine that has getting some stuff and trying to move out.
Sir, here's the thing. There's no Amanda on the list. Okay, so if you are coming to pick up somebody by the name,
I brought them here.
If you brought them here, she's not on our residence.
So her stuff is in the hotel.
She's not on our list
because she's been kicked out. So she's here. April, is there an April here?
I don't know. Maybe there's an Amber. You talking about Amber?
One of those names. That's who she was going to see to get a key to get her stuff. She's there right now. She's there right now getting her stuff. I'm waiting on her to come out that door right there. We're going to put her stuff in there, and she's going to her new place.
Well, to my understanding, if you're kicked out of here, like you said she was, you're not allowed back. Unless you contacted someone.
Well, I don't know where she did contact somebody with the Spire.
Well, we weren't notified.
Well, you're being notified now. So you need to go back in and find out what's going on, because I don't know if she just disappeared or if she's in there somewhere or what's going on.
You have a phone number for her?
Yeah.
Yep. You might want to give her a call and find out what she's doing or where she is. Because once again, if someone's kicked out of here, they're not allowed back in the building.
I would just think that you guys would have your stuff a little bit better together than this. I mean,
we absolutely do. That's why we're out.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. You don't know you got somebody in the building that's not supposed to be there. You probably need to be worried about that instead of me out here in the parking lot waiting on somebody.
Well, once again, last week or something like that.
I don't care about last week. I care about right now. So.
Trying to do a story about whatever it is you're trying to do.
No, I took the people from here off campus. No, Amanda, I got the police out here harassing me right now.
Harassing you?
Yeah, they say that you're not on the list and that you're not in the hotel, or you're not, that you're not around. So.
Amber's coming out with me right now.
How much longer till you come out?
We're coming out the door right now. Amber's coming with me.
Okay, Amber. Okay.
Yeah, she's
all right.
Spire.
She's coming out the door right now. With Amber, with Aspire, just like I told you. Like I said, I would think you'd know who was coming going a little bit better than this. Obviously you don't. Obviously you don't. You don't.
We do.
Well, where's Amanda? Where's Amanda then? Where's Amanda?
She's not allowed in the building.
Well, she's in the building, so maybe you should pay attention to those people better, than me. I mean, just because you're trying to run me off.
Harass the residents.
I'm not out here harassing anybody. You're harassing me.
You can be trespassed from the property.
Where does it say no trespassing? Where does it say no?
First time will be a misdemeanor. Second time.
Where does it say no trespassing? Where?
First of all, I'm contracted to be here, which means that I'm the agent of this property, which means that you can be trespassed by me as a law enforcement officer. You want to go that route? We can go that route. Let's see if you know your laws as good as I know my law.
Well, I would like to see signs that says no trespassing, or you can't bring somebody out here to get their stuff. Oh, look at this. Look what we got here. We got my person coming out here that I'm trying to help out. So this is what you got, city. This is what you got. You got an IPD. Are you actually a police officer? Or
I am actually a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you an IPD?
After you leave here with her, you're not allowed back here.
You heard that?
On this property,
You
you're
get
going to jail for trespassing.
and what's your name? What's your name?
Officer Rodriguez.
Officer Rodriguez. How long you been with IPD?
That's none of your concern.
It's not my concern. Okay. All right.
None of your concern.
All right. Are you even actually with them?
I'm a police officer in the state of Indiana.
A police officer. So you're not with the city. I don't really know who you're with then. Contracted to be here. So you're not a real police officer.
I'm absolutely a police officer.
So which department are you with?
That's none of your concern.
It's not. So you're not. All right. So I'm getting harassed here by a guy that's not even a real cop.
You can look at my badge if you really want to know what police department I'm in.
Well,
now you're causing a scene.
No, I'm not causing a scene. I'm just waiting to pick up my friend's stuff and go. So that's all I'm trying to do. You know this.
Well, you're causing a scene. That's what you do.
No, I was being just fine here till you came out here. So I think you're really, as a peace officer, you're supposed to be a guy that's supposed to be out here making peace. I don't see you making peace. I see you harassing me.
When you're coming over here,
I'm coming over here to help a person out.
interviewing our residents.
I'm not interviewing anybody today. I'm over here picking up a friend of mine.
Last week.
I went over here last week and I took those folks. I met those.
You were doing an investigation.
I am doing an investigation. I've been over here a couple times, but those folks I took off.
Say that you were interviewed.
Not here. Wyndham. I did something at the Wyndham.
That's our property.
Right. Well, you're not in charge of that one. And they came out and they told me I couldn't shoot there. And I left from there. We went off campus and we did the interview. So this is, folks, this is the kind of stuff that's unnecessary. The transparency that I do not see at the Crowne Plaza is ridiculous. And, I'm trying to help out a friend here, trying to help them get situated and get moved out. And this is the kind of welcome you get from Officer Rodriguez, which he's really not an officer. He's just a contracted security guy. So there you go. We're getting ready to put this stuff in here and get out of here. Is it okay if I do that? Can I do that? Can I help her put that?
You got to do, but after today, you're not allowed back.
Okay. Well, trust me. Yeah, okay. You heard that, folks. I'm going to jail. So there you go. And we had a question here in the thing. What did the security say before the recording started? And I basically explained to him what was going on, and either he wasn't smart enough to get it, or if he just was playing dumb. But it was obvious that he was sent out there to work on me because he knew I was doing an investigation, because I didn't tell him that part. He knew I was doing something out there, and they sent him out there to harass me. And there was another guy with him, and why they couldn't find Amanda, I have no idea. These guys are so good at their job. And you know what? At the time, you could hear I was getting a little frustrated because he just wasn't getting it. And then he didn't really want to cooperate. And basically, he's told me I couldn't come back out there. So who's that going to hurt? The folks that I could possibly be helping get to appointments or go see, or what? So it just makes you feel like, it made me feel icky, because they're covering up something. What are they wanting to hide out there? What are they wanting to hide? I had to edit this thing, and the more I watched it, the more it really made me mad that this guy was busting my chops like this. So I could imagine what people in the hotel feel like if this is the treatment that I got, and how they feel. So
John, you weren't even interviewing people there. And like you said, you had not mentioned anything about that. Someone told him who you were, and he decided to pick on you.
Yep. I never got out of my truck.
Yeah.
I parked right there, and it took Amanda I don't know how long it took, because like I said, I dozed off for a few minutes. I was just literally doing nothing. And now to pay
fairness on both sides. They have had some issues in the parking lot, but I wasn't an issue. You could, even Mr. Magoo could see that I was not a threat to anybody. So it was just blatant harassment. And, if I'm doing an investigation, that sort of really sealed it for me, because as I said before, I listened to our folks who live on the streets that don't have homes that are less fortunate. And they'll tell you some stories. I'll be the first to tell you. They'll tell you some stories. So you really have to, read between the lines on a lot of things. But folks, this is not a read between the lines. This is a definite problem that people are being abused. And I hate to use that term, but that's what it's about. So Lisa, I know you cringed when I told you that I had this, and you looked at it, you're like, oh, that troublemaker, there he goes again.
I did, yeah. And I have to say, the first time I saw that video, I did cringe still, just at some of your responses to him. But then watching it again, I realized you just were being very passionate about trying to help Amanda. And I know Amanda. I did flowers for her wedding. I mean, she is someone we care about, right? And for that officer, whatever kind of officer he is, to not, and I get it. I know they probably have a lot of people that show up that try to scam people and all that. So there is a lot of that, and probably very jaded about the circumstances, right? But you are a guy there who is trying to help someone and who is telling the truth. And so why wouldn't he just get on his radio and say, hey, is there an Amanda inside getting her stuff, instead of not believing you? And then lo and behold, here she comes with 2 of those dumbwaiters full of crap.
That's the 6 bags of stuff she already had packed.
Huh?
That's some of the 6 bags that were already. It's only 6 bags, and it's always that. But
and she's been inside getting all this stuff this whole time, and this guy is not believing you. And then he turns around. I cannot believe he didn't apologize to you for not believing everything you said.
Hey, and that was the second time I told him. I already had told him the same stuff first, and he was just literally trying to run me out of there.
He was a bully.
Yeah. In all fairness, folks, this is not an easy job, but you have got to have a kind heart to do it. You cannot be, it will ruin you. Maybe this guy had to take it for the money. I don't know what. Like I said, I would love to talk to him and see their side of the story, because I know it's, but
No, John, he said you were doing an investigation. You never said that. You never said anything about interviewing people. They know you're onto them. And that is why he was out there harassing you.
Yeah, and their MO is to run and hide and not have to put up with it. Well, speaking of Amanda, so that happened last Friday. So I caught up with her at Meet Me Under the Bridge, Kathy Albright's service that we have at 3 o'clock, ACLU parking lot, if you want to come down there. Sometimes I will give the word. We have a little church, then we have a meal, and then there's some tables with clothes and other things on there. And it's really just a good, a lot of these folks don't have families. So it's a good time for us to have a little bit of family time. I don't think any of us are really related, but we sort of consider ourselves family. So I asked her a few questions following, because it was sort of crazy. And this Amber from Aspire was afraid to do an interview because of her job. She was afraid. And I think that's what they're ruling with over there is fear. And they want to make everyone afraid. So this is a short clip here. Let's listen to this real quick. All right, I'm here with a friend of mine that was staying at the Crowne Plaza Hotel. And actually I was over this Friday helping her get her stuff out of the hotel. And that's where I was harassed by the security guard. And what I want to ask her is that pretty much the treatment that you received at the Crowne Plaza?
Yes, all the time. They treat you very, very unfairly out there.
And you would say, does it have to be that way?
No, it doesn't. No.
And would you say that it creates a pretty negative atmosphere for the folks that are staying there?
Very much so. Very much so.
And so you were basically thrown out for pretty much for somebody else's problem, but they grouped you with that problem, and out you went. How many people would you say have been thrown out since you were staying there?
In the 2.5 months I've been there, every day there was somebody being thrown out.
And is it just, or were they really that bad of actors, or was it pretty much just of the will of the manager of the hotel?
The manager of the hotel. Not the manager of the hotel, it's the manager of the program, the Mangus program.
Okay,
yeah.
That's been a common theme of that. And then as far as the security goes, does it feel like a warm and friendly place you'd want to stay?
Absolutely not.
Is it more like a prison?
Yes, it's more like a jail atmosphere, yeah.
Okay, and you're settled, you're out of there, have your stuff out, and do you have a sense of relief with that, or you're sort of looking for a place to go, right?
I'm still looking for a place to go, but I feel more comfortable where I'm at now than I was out there.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the attitude of everyone. It's like, they have to stay there, they don't want to stay there, and that's unfortunate, because I don't know who wouldn't want to stay at not want to stay at a hotel. I mean, especially when you have compromised situations.
John, go back to Tag's question. If the city is leasing the hotel, doesn't that make it public property? And then, and Ava said, what if it is? And then Penny responded, the public is allowed peacefully on public property. So I think that's a really great question.
Well, I think this is what they're going to do. Blame it on COVID. That's a common theme that we've had since this pandemic started. Blame it on COVID. You can easily go with the guys that we want to make sure you're healthy. And my pushback on that is, why did you not care when we have 100 people sleeping under bridges? Because that's about what Tag was serving every Saturday night before this hotel business started, about 100 to 120. And I asked him today when we were talking, I noticed your numbers are down in the 50s and 60s. Is that because of the hotel situation? And he says, yeah, I think so. And then I know some of those folks that we've served that are in the hotel. So it is, from what I can gather, there's about 200 people in the hotel at one time. There's been a lot more go through there because of the turnover. But here's they're following up on this. And if you do have questions, please ask them while we wind this thing up here. But Tag says, how can you trespass someone on public property? Well, let's put it this way. If they're a police officer and they don't like you, they can find something on. They have broken taillight law.
And then John, Tag says, I can understand the building, but not the parking lot. So you know what happens in a parking lot? If someone hits your car, they won't come because it's public property. Where's the delineation? So they can say you're trespassing, and there's no trespassing sign anywhere.
Right. There's not. There's no visitors. There's no anything. And we're getting ready to play another clip, but here Tag said it serves 85, so it's starting to pick up a little bit on that, and it varies. But just to give you a quick, what Tag does. Is every Saturday from 6 to about, 10, 11 o'clock, they make a hot meal and they deliver it to the camps. And it's not just a hot meal, it is a wellness check, so to speak. And if you heard, it's a good kind of wellness check. It's not like at the Crowne Plaza where they wellness check and take your stuff and lose your laundry and, come in while you're showering and harass you. This is a good wellness check, because a lot of times these folks are at these camps and they go out and this and that, but they really don't have anybody that actually cares for them. And I know some folks would say, oh, well, do they really deserve that? They're getting what they deserve. That's not what I call compassion, folks.
They're human beings.
Yeah. And I think if we could take away anything from this, it is dignity and respect. And you could ask anyone that I serve or that I have meal with or whatever in these situations, I treat them like they're Jesus. I treat them, the best that I could possibly treat them. And that goes a long way. And I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. There is not a more generous person than a person living under a bridge. They will give you what little they have. they will give it to you right there. Now, they may not show up on time for a meeting, but they will give you what they have in that moment. And I know Tag could attest to that. I mean,
John,
and I think that's why he does it.
Johnny,
So,
I want to say real quick, we all have heard the phrase, giving to the least of these. And I think a lot of people think the least of these is people like our homeless friends. But I want to tell you right now, those people are not the least. They're the most. And they have the biggest hearts. And like you just said, they would give you whatever they could give you to help you. And if we can't do that for our fellow mankind, then what are we here for? I mean, this whole thing gets me so emotional and just like crazy. I had people come and get food here at the Art Center today. They're just so grateful. And I don't know, these people that think they're so high and mighty and better than everybody else. And, the guy trying to keep you from helping somebody, move along, just move along, because you know what? We would do the same thing for him if he was in that spot.
yeah. And, out of sight, out of mind is a lot of what we have. And I know there's a ton of causes out there that there are, that you can get into. And, and honestly, folks, if you don't have a strong will and a strong stomach and strong ears and all that stuff, this probably isn't the business for you, because it's tough. I mean, Kathy, Meet Me Under the Bridge. We had a great testimony of somebody that's been clean almost 5 years, followed up by a drug overdose where the dude was literally dead. And we had to give him Narcan. He came back to life, and the police had to wrestle him. I mean, it was just terrible. And you just wonder, wow, how do folks live this way? So it's not for the faint. It's not for the weak of fortitude. It is for people that can listen to stories that may not be the best stories you ever heard. But these are folks that live in our community. And I just see that when I see an injustice such as this at the Crowne Plaza, I cannot not say something. And then Tag says, wasn't Jesus homeless? Yes, he said in the Bible, birds have nests, foxes have dens, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head.
Yeah.
So he just sort of wandered around, and he lived off of the goodwill of others. And it didn't hurt to have that healing thing down, because people really like when you heal them. It's almost like giving away money. Sometimes it's even better. Most of the time it is. So
Hey,
I don't want to leave.
Wait, John. So I want to comment on Ava's latest comment. Where's the wellness checks at the hotels? Realize there's not lots of people volunteering services, but there are government employees getting paid to do these jobs. Yes, they are. Where are they? And I think maybe you need to dig a little deeper into your investigation.
Well, and I'm trying to, and hopefully this will get somebody fired up down there. I know when I did Facebook Lives on road conditions, the city was out the next week to fix them, because they learned real quick that I did a Facebook Live on a pothole, and then there was a fatality the next week, and that got their attention. And I know that I think they want to do well, but from what I found from the folks I talked to, they got no business doing this work. They have no clue what they're doing. No offense against young people, but they seemed a little young for this job, or maybe their daddy got them the job. I don't know, but they seemed very skittish on.
So I want to speak to that. So this is again my HR hat coming on. They need to do a better job of recruiting people that really do have this type of thing as a passion. Because when you're passionate about it and you have either volunteered before, a lot of colleges inspire volunteerism, things like that. They need to find people that will do the job because they love it, believe in it, and care about it, not just because it's a job. And those people are going to better serve our communities. And I've been on a nonprofit board and volunteered with a nonprofit for a lot of years. And it's a nonprofit that I'm passionate about because I'm part of that community. And so I can speak to the fact that if it's something that you really do believe in and care about that much, then you're going to want to do more for those people. So I think they need to just do a better job, and I don't know who is holding them accountable to that. But it's a problem. This city is really struggling with this homeless situation, and we just really need to get a lot of good people on board doing the work.
Yeah, and I've been doing this a little over 3 years now with the various organizations, and I don't know where Maurice Young is, but he used to be down at the Central Library, and he did a good job with wraparound services, getting people phones, cards, whatever you needed. He was there on Wednesdays from 4 to 3. COVID came, and I haven't talked to Maurice in quite a while. But I've watched this thing explode as far as, with it just has gotten to the point where rents have gone up, people can't make ends meet, and then they find themselves, pretty much a third of our population is one emergency away from being homeless. And so this is a pretty big deal.
Well, and John, also the mental health issue. That's such a big part of it. And with the absence of Central State and resources like that, we don't have places for people that have those kinds of needs to go.
Yeah. And I do think that, what I notice, and this is a psychologist in me coming out, and everybody says, well, they all have mental problems or drug problems or this. Every single homeless case is different. I have not found one. They might have some similarities, but yes, there is drug problems, big time drug problems. Yes, there's mental health issues. Yes, there is. But there's just honestly some people that just can't, the cost of living is so high, they can't deal with it.
Yeah.
And then they get discouraged, and then they quit, and then they find themselves in that drug pattern of numbing the pain. So if you really want to get a glimpse of it, come down to the ACLU parking lot, 3 p.m. on any Sunday, and you can get an idea of what there's a variety of folks. Like I said, we had everything from a testimonial of recovery to an overdose. So you'll see the whole gambit of everything. I want to ask a question.
John, I want to say too, it's every Sunday, regardless of whether it's a holiday, regardless of rain, sleet, snow, sun, every single Sunday. And also I want to say to tag long distance hugs to you too.
Yeah. So there you go. Tag sends that back to you. A blue and a purple heart, not just one, but a 2 hearts.
And he owes me for pitch hitting for him tonight.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to catch what he should have caught, but that's good. I'd rather have, and for all, Tag is commenting here because he could do that from his phone, because we had him to come over to the art center tonight because he doesn't have a laptop. So that's why he is able to comment. And I'm sure he's laying down. If you've ever seen some of his Facebook lives after a night of serving, he's never upright. Laying down. So this is par for the course for him. So he's got a comment here. So let's put that up. And then I got a question for you. He says many addicts or alcoholics didn't start somehow, but some escaped the mechanism. Yeah, there's some words there that are mixed up. The COVID is probably getting to him. And one of the questions that I want to ask tonight, this is totally off subject, just for 1 second before I forget. I don't want to forget, but the other show, Mouthwash, has had success going at 9 o'clock. So anybody in the comments, if this show starts at 8 o'clock usually, would you think that would be better for a 9 o'clock start? I noticed that our viewership doubled on the other show just by moving to 9 o'clock. So just put a 9 o'clock or an 8 o'clock in the comments if you whichever you would like to vote on. And then I don't want to leave a Do Something Indie show without a positive interview. So we're going to get to that, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap this thing up. So let's go with this one. This is my good friend, Mark Smith. Hi, this is John Schmitz for Do Something Indie, and I'm doing some investigative reporting on some of our homeless friends that are being stored up into hotels, local hotels. And I have a friend with me. I don't know if you want to say your name, but you can if you like.
Sounds like an alias, but my real name is Mark Smith.
And Mark has been in the program with the city for about how long?
I came out here to the hotel. It would have been toward the end of October, I believe.
Your experience so far, has it been pleasant? Do you feel like there's a lot of rules? Give us a little background on that.
It's very pleasant. It's like one of my friends asked, well, how do you like it? And, I was joking with her. No, I like sleeping out on the concrete better.
So that was basically Mark Smith, and he's a guy that has been homeless for a while. He stays at the Wheeler Mission. He's a guy that can sort of stay in the system without having much issue with it. Like I said, he behaves, and sometimes we'll have folks that don't behave. And like I said, this is not an easy job. I don't want it to come off like, oh, I could do all this so much better. No, I don't want it to be looking like I'm hurling stones at them. I'm really just trying to get some transparency with this and see how we can help with the situation. So that's what we got. And at the Wyndham, the security, I set up my camera at the Wyndham. I'm going to interview Mark. And this was probably, this is a month and some change ago. And I get it set up, and here comes I'm waiting on Mark. Here comes the security guys, 3 of them over there. And they were cool. They were nice about it. I mean, they weren't super nice about it, but they were nice about it. Hey, you can't do that interview here. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. They explained it to me and all that. We don't want that. I said, I know the protocol. I don't show anybody that, that's maybe homeless, or I don't want to, reveal their identity. I know all those rules that we have. And I said, cool. So we went off campus, and that's why I took the other folks off campus from the Crowne Plaza, because I knew that I wasn't supposed to be doing interviews there. But the guys at the Wyndham didn't say that. And I talked to another guy at the Wyndham, positive experience. And I think a lot of those folks that are there are in a working program. So it's a little different clientele, so to speak, that are there. So, and that manager would have talked to me, and I did not feel the need to talk to him, because I thought, well, I'll get somebody else to give me an interview, and come to find out he wasn't going to talk to me anyway. So Lisa, what do you think about that? You see Mark walking to the bus over here? Because
I did. Yeah, I saw him walking the other day over here by us. I think there are people that can survive in the system, and like he was walking to the bus stop and going downtown, and so he's doing some things with his life that are purposeful, but he's just one of those guys that probably won't live any other way. I mean, I'd be surprised if he lived any other way with the rest of his life, but he's being productive. He does odd jobs, so he's working. So yeah, I mean, I think you have this big, vast dichotomy of types of people. You have people like Mark, and then you have the people that take advantage of the system. And then you have the people who have the mental health issues, which is in the middle of all of that, who just really can't cope and can't physically take care of themselves. And I just think we need to find a way to kind of bridge the gap for as many of those people as we can. And I don't think we'll ever have a fix for everyone. But I think we need to at least try. I mean, I really do think that's what we're put on this earth to do. So.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So it looks like we had 1 vote for 9 o'clock. That's more than votes for 8. And I think that will help. So I think what we'll do is we'll start the Do Something Indy show at 9 o'clock. And I was really struggling to get this show put together because, like I said, this has been a 1.5-month investigation. I did a lot of interviews. I talked to a lot of folks. I didn't want to take this lightly because it's very important that we get this out there. So I would say to anybody that's watching this, reach out to your councilman, reach out to your mayor, reach out to somebody, the health department.
So can I interject? real quick, John. So that is something that I have heard as a very strong theme in conversations of late, is that voting is a way to share your voice. But once you vote, then what do you do? And if you have all of these things that you're passionate about or that you care about, what do you do? Do you call the mayor's action line? You know, who do you call? If our representatives in government do not hear from us, they think everything's okay. And I heard an elected official say a few weeks ago that they take emails and letters very seriously. And so if we were to all do that, whenever there was something that we really were concerned about or were passionate about or cared about, then maybe some things would get done. After all, they are elected to serve us, not themselves. So if we don't speak up, then we can't complain.
We get what we vote for. So you know, it's the complacency that I see in our city is this, and this is where, and, you know, Tag's talking about where they start. That's where they start down by the Dinner Bell and the Garfield Park, and then they work their way to the different camps. So go to Hearts in Hand on Facebook right here. You can keep up onto that and support Tag because, like I said, they do a very good effort on this, and they get no funding from the city. So that's a common theme. It seems like the folks that get funded with millions of dollars, really, we should be getting better services for that.
Can I go on a tangent just for a second? I know we've kind of gone long, but I want to share real quick my experience with us serving food out of the art center. So we have a lady who works at the Kroger on Washington Street, third shift, and she's convinced her manager to give her all of the expired stuff that technically is still good. So like a loaf of bread that says sell by April 10th and it's only April 7th and it's sell by April 10th and they're getting ready to throw it away. And we know that bread's going to last a much longer time. So she will text me and say, hey, I have a bunch of stuff. Can I bring it? And so we've done that almost every week for what? 3 months now, maybe? Almost every week. So a friend of ours who runs another nonprofit close to us said, you might want to reach out to the city and see if you guys could get approved to be an official food pantry. And then you would get things from the people that provide Wheeler and all those places with their food boxes every week. So I call this lady and she basically tried to convince me not to do it because she said, oh, you can't do this. You have to prove that you've served over 200 families a month, and you have to track all this, you know, you have to track their driver's licenses, their addresses, where they're staying. You have to do all this stuff. And she's like, you don't want to do this. You can't do this. I mean, she basically was giving me every reason in the world to not do it, because if we did, then we would be tied to all of their processes and we would have to report on all these people that we serve and give them all of their information. And she wasn't nice about it. And so basically I told her at the end of the phone call, I said, you know what? I know all these things. I run a nonprofit. I know how all this works. I wouldn't have called you if I didn't already know those things. And I said, so basically, if anyone calls you asking to be able to do something like this and to get funding from the city, you're pretty much gonna make them wish they hadn't even asked about it. And that it's gonna make them not ever wanna do it and not ever wanna get funding from the city, because then it's a tit for tat kind of thing. Like, you have to give them all of this information if they give you any money to serve these people. So I said, you know what? I can just do it without you. I don't need your money, and we'll figure out a way to do it anyway. And so now this lady still texts me. She texted me last night and said, do you guys think you could give out baby food? And I said, absolutely, we could give out baby food. So she brings it to me, and we're doing it outside of the system, just like Tag and everybody else. And we are serving our community, and they appreciate, these people walk in, some of them are almost in tears, so grateful. And then I have one family, they have 10 kids and the parents are out of jobs. They don't have a car that works and they live 3 blocks up the street and they walk down here to get food. So that's just what we're going to keep doing, folks. And we don't need the city to do it for us, but we also need the city to work for us and to do the right thing. And they're not doing the right thing.
And you just explained why so many groups like Tags and these other groups do not want to work with the city, because that's one of the first things I got involved. You know me, I like to bring people together and network, and we have a common goal. And I sat down with the folks at CHIP, and that there's acronym homeless I don't know, it's something in prevention or whatever. That's what it stands for, not being homeless. And their 2 jobs are to count people and to organize the groups. And I sat in this meeting and all they did was defend.
And they don't do anything else. They don't go out and serve these people. So when they go out and count once a year and these people see them coming with their clipboards and their, whatever, they don't trust them. And rightly so. So it's the people that get out in with these communities like Tag that these people are going to trust and let serve them, because they're the ones that really show they care.
Yeah. And I did the homeless count, which they usually do in January, the first week of January, which is the coldest day of the year. And when I had my little notepad that I had to enter this, I had people that knew me and trusted me. By the time I was about halfway through that, they were backing away like, is this the Spanish Inquisition? What's up with this? So yeah, I can feel that. And one of the things that we do, we want people to act decently. That's really the only condition. Everything else is unconditional. If you're going to come in and act a fool and cuss people out, we're going to take you to the side and have a conversation with you. But you know what? You're still going to get a meal. So the conditions that the hoops and the hurdles that folks have to jump over, who are honestly having trouble following rules anyway, are just not serving the people where they are. They are expecting people to come up to their high horse on the 25th floor, wherever that is at the city county building, and bow down to them. And, I'll do all your rules. Just give me a scrap of bread, sir. And it just makes me mad. The lack of dignity and respect that they show these folks. It's just, it's more like, I think if they could pile them up and burn them and get away with it, they'd do it. So that's it for a show. Like I said, for Do Something Indy, this was, like a little bit of a...
I thought you were going to end on a positive note, Johnny.
I know. I couldn't help it. I mean, they've sucked my joy out of me. It's terrible.
Well, can I take it then? Can I? So
yeah,
you
go ahead and take the rest of this show out, and we'll call it a day.
I just really want to give love and hugs to Tag and our friends that serve every single week. Tag, you guys do such amazing work. And when John said they serve a hot meal, they have those big hot containers in the back of the van, and they're dolloping those potatoes and the mac and cheese, and it is hot, people. Like, it is a hot meal. And the fact that they go out and do this every single week without fail is just amazing. And so, I just kudos to them for doing it and for loving on these people. People like Tag and Kathy and all of our friends that serve on a weekly basis. And yes, Tag, I know your wife makes it, and I know she is like a cooking fool. So it's good stuff. But yeah, we just appreciate you so much, because I can't imagine where our friends would be if they didn't have people like you guys. Because if we just relied on the city, it just wouldn't be getting done. So blessings to you guys, and we are just so grateful for you.
All right, well, that's going to be a wrap. We went a little long here, but I figured we would with you on the show, Lisa, because I'm just kidding.
You promised to listen to my long stories, but I don't think I talked the most this time.
No, you didn't. Well, I had more explaining to do, Lucy, so that was part of it. That's my excuse.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you know somebody that's doing something positive or maybe doing something ornery, let me know, and we'll do some investigating or some promoting, whatever's needed to do it. So thank you for tuning in. Share this with your friends, and if somebody doesn't get mad about this and do something, it was going to be all for naught. So let's get out there and do something positive for the city and for the peoples. See you next week at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. That's 9. Okay. Oh, look, the little Winnie dog.
Scarlett says good night.
Okay, that's cute. Bye.